Anyway, let's roll on. I want to start out with our lead story today, or our lead idea today. I guess it's not really a story. Monetizing the truth. So I have had it way above my head. I feel like I'm under 400 feet of garbage and shit with the fact that deep, detailed, really important things that should be rigorously debated in our society are just absolutely blanketed with my experts say. I find this to be reprehensible. It's certainly not scientific by any means. It's not scientific. If you don't have rigorous academic debate in public about an idea, you don't have science. You don't. When scientists are threatened, when doctors are threatened, when economists are threatened with, if you go outside the norm, we'll destroy your career, we'll cut off your grants, etc. We don't have science. I think we absolutely need to hear from experts. I don't want to silence experts. I want to be clear about what an expert is and what an expert is not. So I made a statement on Twitter this weekend, and I said, people that have no consequence for being wrong have no business being referred to or calling themselves experts. You don't get to be an expert, run your mouth, have policy made based on you and your buddies running your mouth, then be wrong, obtain no negative consequence, and get to do it again and again and again and again, and constantly be wrong, but always be propped up and be a fucking expert. That's not what an expert is. A true expert not only makes a statement and prediction and says, this is what we should do and here's how it should do. If it works out, they say, we got it right. Now let's move on to the next thing and try to get it right again. And they admit fully, we will not always get it right. Or they say, when it's wrong, shit, we were wrong. Here's why we got it wrong. We need to learn from this. And nobody does this because there's no incentive in the system for people to correct being wrong. In fact, it hurts them when that's the only thing that hurts you, is to come out publicly and say you were wrong on a mainstream push narrative, even when the mainstream narrative changes. Even when the mainstream narrative changes to a point where you were wrong, you can't go back and say you were wrong, because then they were wrong and you must be destroyed. And I believe the free market is the way that you solve just about every problem we have when it comes to things like interactions between humans. So what I said we should do, this was like my next one. You want to be an expert. For every category you want to be an expert in, and maybe we can even share bond across like up to 3 or 4 categories you want to be seen as an expert in. There's a site, myexperts.crypto or myexperts.btc or something like that, right? myexperts.lightning. We should call it something better than that. It should be marketable. And you go there and you set up a profile, kind of like a LinkedIn profile, all the reasons you're a my expert. But then before you get to say jack diddly shit about anything that you want to be on the record for and you want to collectively be able to say with your expert buddies and your expert subject, you have to tender consideration. You have to put up money. And since you're a freaking expert and you're good at what you do and we should listen to you, it has to be money that can hurt. Somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000 to $10,000 a USD value. I think Bitcoin on the Lightning Network is perfect for this, but I don't care if it's run by the freaking Central Bank of the United States, as long as it's run in an open source where it can be seen in its actual dollars. I don't care. I like the idea of Bitcoin because your stake will become worth more over time, and the consequence of your stupidity will cost more over time. All right? And the way it would work is, if you're going to weigh in on something that should be seen as something the media should report, if it's going to be something that people should do, a policy government should make, a thing that industry should do, anything that's like, this thing means we should do X, Y, Z, then you have to be specific. So when you are one of my experts, right, from the Associated Press, and you make a statement that if we don't act in 10 years, the world's going to end, and you do that in 1989, when 1999 comes around and the world's still here, and all the shit you said didn't happen, you lose your money. Now, where's the money go? Does Jack Spirko get it? No. I think what should happen is you make your claims, and then that claim locks up a piece of your stake for a time. We call that a smart contract in crypto. And as your time limit runs out, your stake unlocks. If you were correct, it goes back to you. If you were wrong, all the experts who have a track record of being right for that time frame, let's say 1 year time frames, it distributes to them. The experts that are right absorb the losses of the experts that were wrong. All of a sudden, being an expert who thinks before they act and doesn't try to appease the masses and get grants from Fauci is rewarded. But more importantly, the pricks that say whatever the agenda wants them to say suffer. And when your balance goes to zero, or your balance goes below a certain bogey, because it's not, I'm not building this, you could build it if you want to. When your balance goes below a certain level, you shut up, okay? You shut your freaking mouth, or you restake. It's a pay-to-play system. And don't go telling me it's not fair to make them pay to play. No, what's not fair is for all of us to suffer for their bad decisions, their bad recommendations, etc. And when it happens that they were wrong, and we've destroyed our economy, we've ruined a generation of our children's freaking lives, or their education or what have you, and they're wrong, that they don't suffer for it. That's what's unfair. And if it's fair to charge a person $20,000, $30,000 a year to go to college, it's reasonable that somebody with 87 initials after their name that wants to be an expert put up money that they don't lose, by the way. Anytime, I think this is how this would work. Anytime you want to say, I withdraw all of my recommendations, all of my statements about the way I think things are, you pull your stake, you're publicly, hey, look, this guy said everything he said he's taken back. You take your stake, whatever's left of it or whatever you've made, and you go away if you want to. Monetize the truth. Is that the best way to do it? I don't know, but I bet you there's a way to do this. And I think we should be doing this in many different situations where people are making statements that are to be trusted, and then decisions are made on those statements. That person should post some form of a bond. That's all this is. It's a bond. And all this would mean is that you think before you go out and you make this statement. What about all of the people? Here's an example, not to be political, but here's an example. 40 or 50 some odd freaking, intelligence experts and intelligence community members went on record and said that Hunter Biden's laptop being found in a pawn shop was a Russian disinformation scheme. And they got to influence the election. Whether or not it actually turned the election, I don't know. I don't care. But they did. It did. You can't say it didn't influence the election. And then it was used as a shield for people like the entirety of mainstream media, Twitter, Facebook, etc., to silence and shut the story down right before the election. And those people who put their name down have never borne a single consequence. And they were wrong. Now, I don't care about the politics of it. I care that they did not suffer consequence for being wrong.